I'm back. We're going to finish the book. Are you ready? Do you remember what happened? Lulu tricked the Brontosaurus and started running. And she ran through what? The forest. And why was that so hard for the Brontosaurus? Because he was just too big. Let's see. The Brontosaurus was trying to catch her, as hard as a mountain-sized creature can try. But she was leaving him further and further behind. Come back, little pet, come back! Lulu could hear him calling, first loudly and then softer and softer. Come back, little pet. I know you'll be happy with me. Come back, little pet. His voice grew even softer, and soon she could not even hear his voice at all. Why? Do you think it's because he stopped calling? Or that she was getting further away? That's right. Since Lulu could not hear his voice anymore, she stopped running and started walking. She tromped through the forest in silence, heading for home. But she wasn't swinging her suitcase, and she wasn't singing her song. And although she very much wanted to see her mom and her dad again, and very much wanted not to be a pet, she felt kind of bad for the Brontosaurus. And so do I, because even though I'm the person writing the story, I didn't like leaving him all behind, sadly calling for Lulu. So she felt sad. Chapter 12. But then, after maybe an hour, Lulu suddenly heard a different voice, a not-so-friendly voice saying, "Hold it right there." Oh, goodness, now what's going to happen? And standing up on his two hind legs and blocking her path through the forest stood the black bear that she had stomped on yesterday. "You hold it right there," said Lulu. "And please," there was the P word again, "don't keep shaking your clawy paws at me. If I have to stomp you, I'll stomp you. But I'd really rather not stomp you. I'd rather..." She opened up her suitcase and took out a jar of golden honey. "Give you this if you please get out of my way." What is going on with Lulu that she doesn't want to stomp him? The bear took the jar of honey, opened the top and dipped in his paw, and slurpily licked it, mumbling something that sort of sounded like thank you. Dipping and licking and slurping, he hurried out of Lulu's path. And she continued stomping through the forest. I wonder if she'll meet the other animals. Until, another familiar, another not too friendly voice said, "This time I'm eating you before you bonk me." And there was the tiger, the silky, slinky tiger of yesterday, ready to pounce on her. "Forget the eating and the bonking," said Lulu, "and try on this beautiful scarf." She pulled out a long, floaty, bright green scarf from her suitcase. "It matches your eyes, and I'll give it to you if you please get out of my way." And the tiger, happily wrapping the eye-matching scarf around her black and orange striped neck, growled something that sounded like, "Thank you," and slinked away. And Lulu kept tromping through the forest. What do you think is the last animal? I'll give you a hint. Until, well, what do you think she meant next? A wolf, a giraffe, a lion? Don't be ridiculous. She meant, of course, what else? The snake. The snake who was hissing an even nastier hiss than he'd hissed the day before and warned her, "This time I'll squeeze you tighter." Lulu, looking disgusted, told him, "Nobody's squeezing anybody. All I'm doing is getting home today." Then she reached in her suitcase and pulled out a small flowered rug and explained to the snake, "This is for you if you'll please get out of my way. A soft rug to rest on for when you feel like resting." The snake took the rug in his mouth and tried to say thank you to Lulu, although it's hard to say thank you when you have a rug in your mouth. and Lulu kept tromping through the forest. Chapter 13. It wasn't too much later that Lulu could see that she was nearly out of the forest. She was happy that soon she would be with her mom and her dad. But along with feeling happy, she was also feeling sad when she thought of the Brontosaurus she'd left behind. As a matter of fact, she pictured the poor lonely dinosaur so clearly in her mind that it was almost seemed as if he was standing there just outside the forest waiting for her. And he was! What? Do you see a shadow? What's on the other side of the forest waiting for Lulu? Was Lulu shocked? You bet. What are you doing here, Mr. B? I found a shortcut, the Brontosaurus said. Lulu smiled a soft, sweet smile and shook her head inside, and then she said, "Please try to understand, Mr. B, that I cannot be your pet, even though you're the nicest brontosaur I ever met. And if you take me away with you, I'll keep on running back home every chance that I get." I already figured that out while I was waiting for you, the Brontosaurus told Lulu. I do understand that you can't be my pet, but please understand that I can't be your pet either. Well, Lulu understood, and the Brontosaurus understood. It seemed that there was only one thing left to do. So they stood there quietly looking at each other for a moment. And then they did it. The Brontosaurus bent his long neck till his face was close to Lulu's. He kissed her gently on the cheek and said, "Happy birthday, little pet, and goodbye." Lulu put her arms around the Brontosaurus' neck. She kissed him gently on the nose and said, "Don't be too lonely, Mr. B, and goodbye." Then she slowly walked down the road that would take her home. Then he walked slowly down the road that would take him home. And although Lulu and the Brontosaurus remembered each other forever, they never ever saw each other again. The end. Maybe. That's what it says. Chapter 13, again. Wait, I'm really not all that sure about this ending. It may be a little too mushy, a little too sad, but since I'm the person writing the story, I'm writing another ending, and then you can decide which one you'd rather have. Well, Lulu understood and the Brontosaurus understood that neither of them could be another's pet. But why should that mean that they had to say goodbye? Come with me and I'll give you a piece of my birthday cake, said Lulu. I'd like that, said the dinosaur. Maybe I can give you a ride. And Lulu arrived at her house riding happily on the back of the Brontosaurus. When her mom and her dad heard the noise of a dinosaur clomping into the yard, they remembered Lulu and they remembered her birthday. Lucky for all, her cake had already been made. Don't worry, he isn't my pet, Lulu said. He's only going to stay here for a piece of cake and a glass of lemonade maybe. But he's kind of a lonely guy, and I would like to invite him back for Thanksgiving dinner. From that time on, the Brontosaurus came to Lulu's house for her birthday, Thanksgiving, and the 4th of July, and sometimes she visited his house. Though since she didn't like eating leaves, she always brought her suitcase full of pickle sandwiches. On one very special birthday, she not only invited her friend the Brontosaurus, but also the snake, the tiger, and the bear. And the Brontosaurus noticed that whenever Lulu asked anyone for anything, she always said, please. The end. Maybe. Oh, goodness. Chapter 13. Again. I'm still not totally satisfied. I'm going to try once more because I think I need to answer certain questions like, were Lulu's mom and her dad worried sick when she didn't come home that night? Had they bought her a present for her birthday? Did she completely stop being a pain and turn into being polite? And how did all that stuff fit into her suitcase? I'm going to answer these questions, and when I'm done, you will have your choice of 3 different endings. I wonder if this is really going to be the ending. Well, Lulu understood and the Brontosaurus understood that though they couldn't be pets, they could be friends. So Lulu invited the Brontosaurus back to her house for some birthday cake and introduced him to her mom and dad. They hadn't been waiting and worrying and wondering where she was because they had fallen asleep sipping their tea, and they didn't open their eyes until they saw the Brontosaurus with Lulu riding on his back. They gave her a silver necklace for her birthday, and she sang them a whole new Brontosaurus song. I didn't get a Brontosaurus for a pet. I didn't get a Brontosaurus for a pet. It sure looks like you've brought one home, Lulu's mom said to Lulu. And we still say no, you can't have one, said her dad. And both of them waited for Lulu to screech and throw herself down on the floor and kick her heels and wave her arms in the air. Except she didn't. What happened to the screeching? Asked her mom. What happened to the throwing yourself on the floor? Asked her dad. Lulu said, I'm 1 year older and I'm not doing that kid stuff anymore. And she says a very nice please, said the Brontosaurus. After the cake and the lemonade, the dinosaur said goodbye, but he would return for many visits. Sometimes the snake and the tiger and the bear came too. And although she kept getting older, Lulu never turned into being perfect. She still screeched sometimes and forgot to say please, though she never and again in her life ever said foo on you. But she mainly wasn't in pain, and the Brontosaurus mainly wasn't lonely anymore. As for how all that stuff Lulu fit into her suitcase, I'm sorry to say that I don't have a clue. I am, after all, just the person who is writing this story. And this time for sure, the end. So I guess you get to pick which ending did you like the best? I don't know. I think they're all pretty good. But I really hoped you liked Lulu and the Brontosaurus. And there's a lot of other Lulu books out there too by Judith Viorst. So go have a wonderful day. Or if this is bedtime for you, have some wonderful dreams until we see each other again next time. Holy Comforter misses you guys. Bye.